Okay, here's our next project. So I have a half bath here with a laminate countertop and sides and backsplashes all around. The laminate is not looking so great. It never, it didn't when it was new, but it looks worse now. So we got a replacement sink and counter. Bought it at Menards, got a good deal on it. It's granite, and it was like $110 with the sink. I have another faucet to put in. As you can see, that one's leaking, so just in time for that. So that's all good. So what we're going to do here, the problem with this is that standard size on these counters, sinks, are 31 inches. In almost all cases, including this one I think, but the vanity is 30 inches and the countertop is 31. So there's a little bit of a lip, okay? Well, that's great when you have room for a little bit of a lip. But in this case, from this wall to this wall is 30.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a razor or a carpet knife and cut through this caulk and use a putty knife to try to, as gently as possible, separate the side splashes and the backsplash from this. And then I think I'm going to have to cut into the drywall a slice so that I can put the sink in, lay it down, and cut a piece out of this. So I'm going to probably have to fix this side. I'm hoping to do this side with a minimal amount of damage, because if you can tell, this is where the electrical is. So if I'm going to have to repair one side, I'd rather repair that side. So anyway, that's what we're going to try to do. I'll take you underneath the vanity first. We'll look at how it's attached in the first place down there, and then we'll work at getting this guy out of here. So as far as I can tell, there's nothing, no fastener like screw situation holding the countertop on. It must just be glued, which could be fun in and of itself, but I'm going to deal with that from the top side. So I'm just going to turn off the water, disconnect the drain and the water lines, and then we'll start hacking away. Okay, sorry to skip ahead on you here, but my son stopped by and we were working on it together. I couldn't really video it. So basically you can see we cut a notch out here all the way down. I still got a little bit of a crack there and stick my finger in there. So I'm going to have to put some kind of backing in there. There's a stud over here, and there's a stud somewhere around here in line with where the power is. So I'm going to have to put something there so that it'll hold the mud so I can fill it in. But we'll do that coming up here. I've got a long strip over here that we came across an unexpected thing. There's ductwork in between the studs here. So I need to cut out farther here. This was big enough to get the sink in, but I need to cut out farther so I can get to a stud over here, so I have something to screw a patch piece of drywall in there. So I'm going to do something a little maybe odd, but this is 1/2 inch drywall. I'm going to use 3/8 for the patch, just so I can get it in and I'm not going to have to worry about it sticking up too far if it's a little bit rough here, and then I can fill it in with mud. So we're going to see how that goes. But first thing is, I wasn't thinking about this when we cut the other stuff. Obviously the backsplash is as wide as the sink, so it has the same problem. So you can see it there. I need to cut out the drywall on this side right down here. And This is the line where the old backsplash was. I'm going to use that as basically my marker. So I'll cut that down or out to the wall. I'm going to also have to cut a little bit here, but I'm not sure how much yet. So I might cut this part first and then see if I can figure that out, or I might just cut a little bit of it off. So anyway, that's the next piece. We get the backsplash in. I'll put a little bit of liquid nails on the back to hold it on, and then I can worry about building my patches and finishing it off. We also have side splashes for these too, so I need to make it look good, but it's not going to be what you're going to see. You're going to have it covered with a piece of granite just like this. So, all right, that's next. Okay, I had to cut just a hair off or more off both sides, and I did a test run. I got it in there, couldn't hardly get it out, so it's pretty solid, but I'm still going to put a little bit of liquid nails on the wall just to hold it so there's no way it'll ever tip forward or whatever. This is an 1.25 inch thick granite, so I don't think it's going to move, but it's good to have something there to keep it from moving. So I'm just going to put a touch. Did I move you? I don't think so. Okay. Just a touch of this on here. All right. Let's get that out of here. And then I'm probably going to smush most of that down into the bottom, but I'll figure it out. So this guy here, I can get in there, and that's just enough. I can drop it down to get me down here. Ouch. And I want to get it. There we go. It's flush with the sink. It's good on the wall. It's got the liquid nails holding it. So I got to do the side repair now. And then I've got one of the side splashes. I got a special order the other one because I only had one. I don't think I said in the beginning, we got this at Menards for $110, which it was marked down. It was a really good deal, I think, for the sink. I already had the faucet, so that's all good, and that's all working. Thanks to my son on that one. He did the crawling down on his back stuff for that. But anyway, got that done. The backsplash is on. When we get the backsplash and the side splashes done, we'll hit it with a bead of Lexel to keep any water from getting behind it. Not that there should be much getting 4 inches above the sink, but you never know. So I'm going to work on the drywall fixes now. Okay, so this piece I got to be a little careful with. I obviously don't want to cut into the ductwork. So I'm just going to go a couple inch or an inch or so at a time until I get close to a stud. I'm going to stay up here. Yeah, I'm going to stay up here. Well, yeah. I'm going to stay down here then. Hey, looky there. That worked out pretty well. Didn't have to go very far at all. So now I've got a funky cut here to do. I'm going to do just a little piece there. I've got a stud right there, so I can just put a little piece in there, screw it in, same on the other side, and fix it with mud. And then I'm good from here. I've got a stud, and here I've got a stud, here and here. So I'm just going to do a little mark. So I know right here to here is stud. Here to here is stud. And then basically there on over is stud. So when I have the patch in there, I won't be able to see the studs. Hopefully, if I do a decent job cutting it, and I'll know where they are. So that's next, cutting the piece of drywall. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut. I actually used this little one and this little skinny guy. These were from the cut over here, so that worked out really well. For the little guys, I'm going to put a little liquid nails on, well, I might as well do it on all of them. A little liquid nails, and then I'll follow it up with the screws. So since we've got it out and ready to go, might as well. So I'm just going to put a little dab over here. We'll do some here, and here, and here, and a little bit back here. And this guy, go in there like so. This guy, works out pretty good. And this guy, like so. I'm not going to worry about cutting a piece for down here. It would be this thick, so it would basically crumble anyway. But this is all going to be covered over with the side splash. One of these only on the side. So I'm going to mud it, but I'm not going to worry about having a piece to put in there to support it. There's only one stud I could go to anyway. The wood on the other end I'm covering up with the backsplash, so I couldn't get to it anyway. Alright, so I'm just going to shoot a couple nails into this thing, and then we're ready to mud. So on this side, I'm less worried about it sticking out than I am about having it firm. I want it to stay put. Hit that a little bit harder. Just tighten up the ratchet some. Always want to be careful not to go through the paper, because then there's nothing holding the screw. I guess I want to be here. And there. Okay. Good and solid. my biggest concern. I had it there glued to the original piece I had glued to the ductwork, and it would bow when I pushed on it. I want this to be good and solid so that when I fill it in with mud, the mud won't crack. If it bows, then the mud will break, and there's no point. Not what I was trying to do. That is not what I was trying to do. I'm going to have to redo that piece. Alright, I was afraid of that. The small ones are really hard to work with. So let me take that off. Get that guy out of there before that liquid nails dries. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to try to screw that one. That one's definitely going to break. So I probably won't this one either. I'll put more liquid nails in it, put a new piece in there, let it dry, and then I'll be ready to mud. So that'll be the next thing. Okay, so last piece for this right now is filling in what I can, and this is going to be a multi-step process. So I'm going to put some on, let it dry, and then I'll have to add more. Mud's a little dried out, so it should be okay. Just using this to get it on there. I've got the tape knife to help smooth things out, but kind of get that build up. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch all this. I'll show you the end product here when I'm done. Okay, it looks a little rough, I know, but I'm pretty happy with this. This is like 3 layers of mud on it that is now dried. I'm just using a sanding block. Like so. So that just gives you an idea how well it sands down. All I need to worry about is to about here. Because if you look on this side, this isn't glued in yet, but I just have the side splash sitting there. So again, all the rough behind I don't care about. I'm going to paint it with a coat or two of primer just so it doesn't absorb anything nasty, but as long as the side splash sits right, I'm going to glue it in there. So I only have to make this little piece here and the top here look nice. So it's real close to that. So I'm going to sand it down, paint it a couple times with the primer, and then paint it with the finish coat, and then glue the side splashes on, and we'll be done. So I'll show you the finished version. All right, I finally got it. So I'm pretty happy with the side here. You can tell a little bit of where the cutout was, but short of replacing all the drywall on that wall, I'm pretty happy with it. So the sink is in, the drywall is fixed, it's painted, and it's just a case of putting that there. And there. I'm just going to put a bead of liquid nails on the back and bottom of this, and then seal it up with Lexel. And we're going to consider this done. I think that's pretty good considering it didn't fit. So, hope you found it interesting, and please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.